Hey there, cats and kitties. I'm the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 7 of the anime series Shokugeki no Soma, Sara, or the Second Plate. And man, did they have me going throughout the entire course of this episode, gritting my teeth on the edge of my seat, poised with just no idea. I could not fathom for the life of me who was going to win in this matchup between Ryo and Akira. Now, I had vague memory of, Akira and Soma having gone up against each other once before. I could not remember who'd won, and Soma seems to allude to the fact that Akira had actually beat him by 1 point or something along those lines. And it's been a while, so I really couldn't recall, but I could not directly recall a matchup between, of course, Soma and Ryo. And I started to suspect that Ryo might be the winner, and it seemed like they were angling it that way a little bit toward the end when, after everything has been cooked up and everything like that, and, basically all of the spices and aromas are filling the entire auditorium from Akira's dish and all that kind of stuff. Like, it just seemed like, okay, we've been here, seen this, done that before, and it really kind of seemed like they were ramping up Ryo by that point. We saw the judges all having their foodgasms and everything like that in various degrees, like being picked up by eagles' talons and all that kind of stuff. And then when Ryo brings his eel dish out, which, like, out of the dishes in this matchup, I'm not a big seafood eater, and I'm even lesser so gravitating toward eel, so I probably would have gone with Akira's whole dish. I think I probably would have really liked to have tasted that to begin with, but I probably would have voted that one. I'm not exactly a unpicky palate, so I wouldn't want to be eating the damn eel to begin with. But I mean, it just really seemed like all of a sudden, with the whole card game thing, and I mean, was that Digimon or Pokemon it's supposed to be coming out of the cards, and like they're summoning all these ingredients and everything, and like Ryo is just unmatched intensity. He's there to murder his opponent rather than, just sort of lift them up with the eagle talons like Akira seemed to do in this dream sequence, foodgasm affair. And it was almost as though Ryo was like the monster in the dark, the wolf in the fold. You don't want to be caught basically in a back alley or in the woods somewhere, because this monster's going to come ripping out at you. That's kind of how he's approaching his entire, dish, his eel dish. And so I really started to think, okay, Ryo's got the leg up here. I could see it falling to him being the winner, and basically sending Akira packing. And holy hell, did they just shock and surprise me with a deadlock. I mean, 2 for 2 points on each side for Ryo and Akira, and then the final judge chick, she just can't decide. And I'm like, well, what's going to happen here? I mean, the whole time you had Soma basically hanging out with the two Nakiris, Alice and Arina, and we see Arina goes down to the auditorium floor. Where the hell is Alice gone? He doesn't even know how they disappeared to begin with. He missed it completely. They're leaving. But I'm like, okay, we have, Arina and the other two guys there. Dojima is probably going to employ their palates to, taste the leftovers, although the dishes completely disappeared. But I was thinking maybe they're off to the side and they're going to have these three taste them and, be like a sort of, hopefully break the deadlock vote between the three of them. And it didn't go anything like that at all. We're talking, Dojima's like, well, why don't we have the two of these nice young fellows move ahead for a final round three-way between Akira, Ryo, and Soma. And I just, if I had had a beverage in hand, I probably would have done a spit take, because this is exactly, sort of forecasted in the OP when you see those three, as they're sort of balancing on, cutlery or whatever. Those three are singled out by the end of the OP, and it's just like, oh, so that's why. They're actually, the three of them are going to go up against each other. So whereas, you know, in matches previous, usually when it's one of our main characters, I kind of sort of feel like I have a lead on who's going to win, who's going to lose. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. Soma, I have a feeling he's just going to win all the time at this point. I can't foresee him losing. But then again, you never know. I mean, humility serves Soma well as well, so anything could really happen in this final match. I'm leaning towards Soma being the winner, and I doubt we're actually going to get right to that match in the next episode. I'm wondering if there's going to be some filler episodes or, you know, something along those lines. I don't exactly know, because I can't imagine they're going to get right to it unless there is something that occurs beyond the autumn elections. You know, I'm assuming this is the final round coming up with these three going up against each other. So will there be something set before that? Will this season finish out with this final round and finding out who wins? I'm betting on Soma. Or will we see this happen first and then we'll have sort of a tapering off couple of episodes? I don't have a clue. I really don't. This is what I love about watching series like this, where there are stakes and you have competitors, and I love being out of the loop. I love being, you know, very much seldom a manga reader, because I'm loving the excitement, but I can also see it from the other perspective of someone who's well familiar with it, being able to see it animated, see what changes there are. If you're excited about certain matchups, you'll probably be as excited watching the anime. And I would imagine this was a pretty exciting match. I was almost just slightly, you know, a hint of disappointment was coming over me when there was the deadlock, and I'm like, oh man, do not string this along. What are you doing? But then with Dojima's plan and putting these three guys together, I mean, there aren't any other, you know, competitors I'd rather see going up against each other in a final matchup. I mean, the only thing beyond seeing Soma, Akira, and Ryo going up against each other that I could foresee that would, you know, whet my appetite and get me salivating and be like, I want to see this very badly, would be Soma and Arina, quite honestly. I mean, he kind of wiped the floor with Alice a little bit there, and, you know, she's still smug as a rug, you know, so, like, Arina, bring it on. Just put them together. Put them, you know, head against head or head to head, whatever. And, you know, I mean, the way they banter back and forth, like, she was so ticked off that Soma was even, like, hanging out in the VIP room with her and trying to get him away from her. But then when they were, like, actually poised to watch the match, they're talking to each other, and then Alice gets involved. Soma will always be my go-to guy. He's my favorite character in this entire series. I love a lot of them, but, I mean, he's the guy. He's the man. And I have to imagine he's going to win. But as I say, you never know. He could lose to one of these two guys, and the humility will reign, but it will not stop Soma, because he just doesn't give up. And that's something to aspire toward. Keep reaching for your goals and your dreams, and oh hell yeah, bring on the next one. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've seen episode 7 of Shokugeki no Souma ni no Sara, if you enjoyed it as much as I did, if you were shocked as I was by the deadlock ending, if you were as flummoxed and, like, grasping at straws to figure out who was going to win, and what you thought of the different dishes that they put together this time out. Are you with me that eel is, like, very unappetizing sounding? So yeah, otherwise that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.